Hello, everyone. My name is Matt Kreitz. I'm with the Department of Workforce Development, and you're here for Inters training. This is module number 2. We're actually going to get into the software. In module number 1, we went over the policies, the overview of why you have to do what you have to do to be an AE provider, if you're a current provider or even if you're a brand new provider. So in this module, I'm going to cover your settings, your preferences, the filters, and the basics of how Inters looks with the software. I'll be using a test data system. It is completely blank. I will be adding everything to it and show you what it looks like the first time you log in as a brand new AE provider. So let's get into that. Again, I'll be using a test system, but when we install Inters from Bomgar, like I showed in module 1, you'll get an icon that is the state seal on your desktop that you'll be able to click on and open. Because I'm in a test data, I will be using a QA build. So the software, when you open it, gives you this message: click continue. And if you have a username and password, you'll be able to use it to log in. There are some important things to note when you first log in. First, it should say ABE. If it doesn't, I'll show you how to fix that. Second, you'll notice the application date and the version of which you're operating on. We do release updates fairly often to fix minor things or add things. As you can tell, we just did one on the 16th. So I will go ahead and log in and get started with what it actually looks like. So when we authorize you, you'll connect to our servers and you will have access to your data. As a user, you only have access to your data. You have no access to anyone else's in the state. That's for security reasons. So we'll just leave it at that. That's how it works. And here's what we're going to discuss. If you notice it opens in a small window, that's fine. I'll go ahead and full screen it. Everything is yellow and it says test build right here in big yellow and red letters. So the first thing I want to discuss is your preferences and settings and things like that. So in the upper left-hand corner of the software is a state seal. If you click the state seal, you get a drop down of options. One is file, one is tools, one is settings, and then the other one is a help. We're going to focus on this settings file. In it, you have your personality. So if I click that, this is the personality that you select: adult basic education or career and technical education. Inters was created in 2004 as the career and technical education data collection system. That's how the name became Inters. It was the Indiana Technical Education Reporting System. When DWD took over adult basic education in 2009, we added all of the features that ABE providers needed to collect federal data. Our users use it every single day now. So make sure that you're on adult basic education. If anything looks weird or out of the ordinary, just make sure you're in ABE mode. All you have to do is click the dots to change between the two and just click OK. So I'm going to click OK on ABE. The next one for settings is change your password. We will assign you a username and a password. And when we create it, we will enforce you to change your password the first time you log in. All you have to do is this window will pop up when you first log in, is click in the new password, type in a new password, and then confirm that password, click OK, and it will change your password. If it does not, while we're still on with you, because we make sure that you get logged in the first time, let us know. We'll do it again. We can reset it, or we can manually set whatever password you wish. We suggest that you change your passwords, just like with your computer logins. You should change them. They should not be something simple. You are dealing with secure information and student level data that is protected. The next thing on the settings is your preferences. And this is one of the most important things to set the first time you set up Inters. When you open this, it gives you the options to change how you see your student views and things like that, and it'll make more sense when we get into the system. What type of report format do you want to export it to? XLS or XLSX? That is the difference between the versions of Microsoft Excel. The older versions are XLS, and the newest Windows 10 version is XLSX. We have it defaulted to the old version. We understand that not everyone has the newest version of the software, so we default it to the oldest. Just know that when you go to open one of these documents, you'll have to convert it, be able to save it to the newest version if that's what you're working with. So the most important thing on this screen is this attendance search history by days. You are going to want to set that to 90 days. Here's why. They will inevitably show back up into your program. You'll go to put their attendance in or do a new site program record or something, and you will create an error because they have not actually exited the program. So you don't enter the exit dates. The system will automatically exit them from 90 days after 90 days of no attendance. So this attendance search history days, you need to set it to 90 and leave it and don't change it. When you do attendance for your students, it loads any student within the last 90 days that has been in that class. If you change this, it won't load all of your students. So if you have a student who's sporadic on showing up and you set this to less than 90 days, they won't be on your attendance roster, so attendance won't get done and you'll miss them, and then the system will exit them. So I'm going to leave it to 90 days and I'm going to click OK. Again, this is test data. There is nothing in this program that is active or anything. I created it this morning and I will be adding everything to it just like if it was brand new for you. So that's the preferences. Again, take notes, pause the video, rewind, look at it again. You can follow along if you already have the software, but know this, you are in the live system. If you are following along, you will make changes to your live data. I suggest that you do not save anything. You can follow along and watch, take notes, but I suggest not doing this unless you're going to do intakes on a brand new student or create a new teacher record that is a real teacher or student for your program. So once we've covered the preferences, I'm going to explain how we created Inters and why it looks the way it looks. We wanted to make it familiar with people so that it was easier to use and more intuitive to what you're used to. So we tried to create it to look like your normal Microsoft programs. It consists of tabs at the top, filters, tasks, views, list, rapid entry, and reports. You will not have the admin tab. This is for my account and my account only. On the filters, once you hit a tab, you have new options down below it. So if I go to tasks, you will see I have more buttons underneath it. And we made them icons so that it's familiar, just like within Word or Excel. Views, you have the same thing. Lists, a different set. Rapid entry, a different set. As you click through these tabs, these will change. So on the filters, you only have access to your data. I am going to show you how to set your filters so that you don't lose anything. Because, and it's happened and it continues to happen, people will say, Matt, I've lost all my students. The first thing we'll ask is, have you checked your filters? You're going to say yes. So we will go in when you remote in, and the first thing we will do once they load, is we will click the clear all button. It will clear all of the filters. We will click the current term. We will click save. Then we will go to your student views, click view all, and all of your students will be there. And you're going to think we just worked some magic. No. You had at some point selected a filter that didn't allow you to see all of your students. When you hit this drop down for the program, you won't have a large list like this. Okay? These are all of the current programs in the system that I can filter by. I will be using the test program that I created this morning, and that is the DWD test. You won't even see this in the live. It's only created on this test database. I'm going to click save. I don't need to click anything else, and you as a user don't need to click anything other than the term, because you only have access to one of these. If you're a regional person or someone with that is administering the fiscal agent and you have more than one ABE program underneath you, then yes, you will have more than one ABE program, and then you can select those. But just remember, you won't see any student data from any of the other programs. You'll only see students from that program. The location drop down is any location assigned to this program, this ABE program. Okay, so if I click the drop down, it may give me everything because I'm logged in as me. You can select this, but again, you will only see students and teachers that are at that particular location. Now you've eliminated other ABE programs as well as any of the other locations underneath that ABE program. So I'm not going to do anything there. Course types. Again, this is ESL, ABE, mixed ABE and ELL. ASC students, work keys, mixed ABE, ASC. If you just leave this alone, you'll see all of your course types and all of your students. Again, I'm not going to go into all of these. I will go into the bottom one. Here is the enrolled filter, and you'll see a couple of selections. All, registered only, both registered and enrolled. Per federal guidelines, in order for a student to be enrolled, they must receive a minimum of 12 face-to-face contact hours to be considered enrolled. Once they hit those 12 hours of face-to-face contact education, they are an enrolled student and they now count for your program for National Reporting System, NRS federal reporting. That is your denominator of your students. Every student who has 12 or more hours is what you're being graded on and counted for. So if you have 100 students with 12 or more hours, that's your denominator to figure out who has a measurable skill gain, MSG, or an HSE. Those two things are what you're graded on as a program, based on the total number of enrolled. Registered only is any student with 6 to 11.9 hours. That is considered a registered student. They've been at your program for at least 6 hours, but they have not hit the 12-hour mark. So that's a registered student. Any other student with less than 6 hours is a contact. And if you remember from Module 1, when I talked about data collection, you're required to enter all contacts into the system. When you leave it at all, you will see all of your students. The reason this is important is that when those students do come back, that may come back, they're there so you don't have to try to find them again. The feds also want to see all of your contacts and registered students. That's everyone with 11.9 hours and below. All right. So we're going to leave this at all. I just wanted to explain the differences of what the difference between a registered student is and what is an enrolled student and what is a contact. So when we have these filters set, then when you go to tasks or any of the other subtasks, it's only going to load those students or that information for that filter. So if I go to views and students and I click view all, it's going to search and load every student that I have for that program. And you notice I have 0. I have not added anything yet. That'll be in a later module. This is how the system works. It looks at those filters that you have set and loads that specific set of information. That's why we always say just set the current term, because you're working with all of your students in the current term. You don't want to limit what you see. You'll miss stuff. Same with the teachers and the courses. Okay? It will load everything based on the filter that you have set. Now, I don't have any teachers yet. I'm going to add those and students and courses and everything to show you how to get up and running. So if you're a brand new AE provider, your system will look just like this. If I go to views and locations, we at DWD have already set up, based on what you have told us within the RFA, what your fiscal agent is, which is the one I have highlighted right here, what the name and location of your ABE program is. That's where all of your locations are tied to, and all of your physical address, building locations where you're going to teach courses, your schools. So in module 1, I talked about that umbrella FA, and then they get the money, and then all of their subrecipients are considered ABE programs. So you may have more than one ABE program reporting to your fiscal agent. And then all of those ABE programs have locations or schools that are underneath them. So that if you do set the filter to this ABE program, you will see all of these locations. Your user accounts are set up to only see this information. If you are a fiscal agent that has more than one subrecipient, you as the fiscal agent have access and are responsible for their data. You will see all of their ABE programs and all of their locations and all of their students. It is up to you to determine how you wish to manage or supervise the entry of that data. So that's how the system looks and works on that. So that's how the locations look. When you create courses, once you've created teachers, they'll show up here as well based on the locations that you assign those courses to. So that will cover it for this module. Again, this module was just an overview of how Inters looks and the basics of how it works and how you navigate through the system. When we're in more detailed stuff, it will open up more things, and I'll show you different things on how the tabs work. Like, so if I opened the student views, it opens a brand new tab that says students that you can just click on and go to views and courses, and then you have courses and students open, just like if you had multiple spreadsheets and wanted to work between the two. You don't have to close out and reopen and close out and reopen. You just go between the two tabs. But again, rewind, rewatch this. This is the simple one. This goes over the preferences. The most important thing, set your preferences to 90 days and leave it there. Set your filters to the active term and don't change anything else. You guys have a great day. Thanks for joining us. And this has been a DWD adult education training video.